Do you know what time it is? It's time for another installment of Ask LadySpeech. That's what time it is. What's up, my sugar honey dumplings? It's time for another installment of Ask LadySpeech. You see it, you see it, you see it. Pink sparkly background, pink sparkly background. What's up, y'all? It's your favorite hood healer. It's your favorite hood high priestess. It's your favorite motivational dominatrix. It's your favorite auntie, captain, goddess, king in the place to be. And I want to welcome you back to this here channel. You could be anywhere. As a matter of fact, you are somewhere. And you're also sharing some time and space with me. So thank you. I appreciate that. Thank you, thank you, thank you. If you like what I'm doing, if you like what you see, if you're feeling me, if you're feeling this, make sure you hit the like button. Make sure you hit the notifications bell. Make sure you hit the subscribe button so we can always keep in touch. I'm here for you. Anytime you need me, baby, anytime you press play, I'm here for you. Now, let's get into today's video, shall we? All right, y'all. This is a good one. This is a good one. This is a good one. This is a question that I have gotten asked several times over the years, that I have answered a few times and addressed a couple times on my TikTok, and I realized that I have never put the video out here on this platform, and I thought today was a good day to do just that. So today we're taking this question from my TikTok, shameless plug. If you're looking for some quality content to follow on TikTok, might I suggest myself? You know, I'm not doing too bad over there. Become a part of the gang. Become a part of the gang. My TikTok is at LadySpeech Sankofa, baby. It's not the baby, just at LadySpeech Sankofa. So come and follow me over there if you are wanting some quality content. I also end up answering a lot more questions on there. It is a 1 to 3 minute format, but I end up getting a lot more questions addressed on there. So come on over there and join the party. Now, to the questions. Today's question is, I'm gonna read it 3 times, then we're gonna get to the juiciness of it all. Today's question is, would sweetgrass be a good alternative to white sage for cleansing space and energy? Let me say it again. Would sweetgrass be a good alternative to white sage for cleansing space and energy? One more again. Would sweetgrass be a good alternative to white sage for cleansing space and energy? Excellent question. Let's get into it. All right, let's address what this comment is inferring before we answer the question, because some of you are going to be like, well, why can't this person use white sage? Okay, the person who was asking this question is not of First Nations descent in America, and this is where I'm from, America. They're in America, I'm assuming, and they are not of First Nations descent. Okay, due to the nature of capitalism and colonialism, due to the exploitive nature of capitalism and colonialism, many of us who are part of the spiritual or witchy world in America and even in Canada are very familiar with sage, white sage specifically, but a lot of sage, as a cleansing element to cleanse your space energetically, spiritually. Those of us who are woke and awakening understand a couple of things. Number one, the sage and how we know the white sage that we are all familiar with burning, the bundles that people are burning, and where they oftentimes come from here. I want to acknowledge before I go on that plants oftentimes have correlations in different areas. When the enslaved Africans were taken from Africa over and brought to America, there were a few plants that we recognized were similar or the same as plants that we had back home, okay? So oftentimes plants will have cousins or sisters in different continents, okay? So sage has a few plants that are part of that sage family, and some of those plants and variations and brothers and sisters can be found in other parts of the world, okay? Now, The practice of burning bundled sage as we know it comes from First Nations people in America. And the type of sage that most people are using to cleanse their space was cultivated in America, okay? A lot of people do not realize that First Nations people, Native American people were not legally allowed to practice their faith, their spiritual systems that are their blood right and in their blood lineage until about 1980 in America. It was illegal for them to dance, to have powwows, to have sweats, and to do vision quests, to do many other things, sun dances, many other things. You can definitely find records of many First Nations people, Native American people defying that order, but if folks were caught, dangerous consequences happened, okay? Not all Native American First Nations people across America, because Native American First Nations people, there were hundreds upon hundreds upon hundreds upon hundreds of tribes and people and nations, okay? So not all of them utilized sage as a tool for magic or a tool for cleansing, but some did, okay? So the reason why people leave white sage alone, or there is a movement that is pushing people who are not First Nations, Native American people to burn that, I forget what I just said, but there is a reason why there are people who are pushing for people who are not First Nations to burn that herb, is because we want to save that for First Nations people who that is part of their lineage and who that practice belongs to. Again, that practice, the burning of sage, smudging, was cherry-picked out of a sacred spiritual system. We do not burn sage if we're not First Nations or Native American people, because A, most if not all of us come from Native Indigenous spiritual systems that have cleansing aspects to them, and B, we want to save that plant for the people who it's in their lineage. Also, C, that is a spiritual tool and practice that is a part of a bigger practice, and it is disrespectful to take a piece of someone's sacred practice without their express permission and to do it and put our own spin on it, especially when we have our own things to draw from, okay? Especially when we have our own things to draw from, all right? So now to the question. When it comes, let me read the question one more time. Would sweetgrass be a good alternative to white sage for cleansing space or energy? Okay. So when it comes to burning sweetgrass, we're gonna treat it the exact same way as we're treating white sage, okay? Sweetgrass belongs to the way we burn it, the way we market it. I'm talking about America. Sweetgrass belongs to one of the First Nations, or a few of the First Nations tribes in America. Again, First Nations people were not legally allowed to practice their spiritual system until 1980 in America, okay? So sweetgrass, we want to stay away from it for the exact same reasons. So no, it would not be a good alternative to white sage. And it would not be a good alternative to white sage because theoretically, spiritually, philosophically, it's in the exact same boat as sweetgrass. We want to save that for the Native Indigenous First Nations people of this land. We want to give them access to their tools first. First Nations people who are still alive, who are descendants of the great genocide that has happened, the great extermination that America committed onto them, deserve to have their tools first. So many of them are already displaced and ripped from their native lands. They deserve to have their spiritual tools first, and we deserve to have our spiritual tools first. So, let's talk a little bit about alternatives. Most, if not all, of our indigenous spiritual systems, especially pre-colonized and actually after after colonization. A lot of our spiritual systems contain methods of cleansing. Smoke cleansing is a very effective way of cleansing a space, cleansing a person, cleansing an area, blessing a space. And smoke cleansing is something that is not exclusive to First Nations, Native American people in America or all of the Americas. Cultures all across the globe have utilized the burning of different herbs, the burning of different resins in order to engage in smoke cleansing. But there is water cleansing, using different herbs and water in spiritual baths or in sprays or in floor washes or in wall washes to cleanse a space or to bless a space. There is colognes and different liquid concoctions and potions that are blessed. There's holy water that is used. There's water cleansing that works to cleanse a space, a person, to bless a space. There is sound cleansing. There are many cultures that utilize sound cleansing. I know in my tradition that I follow, one of which is hoodoo, I utilize sound cleansing, I utilize smoke cleansing, I utilize water cleansing, I utilize earth cleansing, I utilize fire cleansing. There's all types of ways that you can cleanse in that way. You can utilize the earth for different things and different ways to cleanse. You can utilize fire in different ways to cleanse. So I'm not going to go into too many specifics right now because, it is pretty customized and individual towards whatever lineage you were coming from. But I say that there are many different ways to cleanse, okay? And this is an invitation to look into your lineage, to look into your ancestry. It's important to look into who you come from because what you are connected to, you're going to already have a spiritual and cosmic relationship with, and also when you look into your lineage, you are not culturally or spiritually appropriating. All right, in the end, that's the big thing about burning sage and burning sweetgrass. Straight up, it's cultural and spiritual appropriation. So stop. If you've been doing it, do not judge yourself. Just stop. When you know better, do better. I don't judge myself for the burning of sage. I burned sage for years. It was introduced to me, that practice was introduced to me by my First Nations descended Native Indigenous friends. And I also learned about it just in general. It was reinforced by society. I bought sage for years. I burned sage for years. I then progressed to only working to get it from people who were sourcing it ethically because I thought that that was better. And then it finally dawned on me after it being explained to me by a First Nations person why I shouldn't be buying it or burning it. If I am given at this point sage or sweetgrass, if I'm given it by a Native Indigenous First Nations person and they have given me the blessing to burn it, they want me to burn it, I double check and make sure with the spirits that I work with and with their spirits that it's okay, and I do burn it if I have their blessings. That hasn't happened in a long time actually, but if that were to happen, that's how I handle that. If I'm given it by someone else, then I will make it as an offering and return it back to the earth. I will literally bury it back and give it back into the earth in acknowledgement of, because it is from the earth, so I'll just give it right back to the earth, okay? Sometimes people give their leftover sage to First Nations people that they know. I know for some First Nations people, this is okay. And for some First Nations people, they don't want it and this is not okay. So for me and my spirits, this is why I give it back to the earth. Because that feels good. And that is something that the spirits have directed me to do. So long story short is, sweetgrass a good alternative to burning sage to cleanse a space? No, it's not. But there are lots of other things that you can do. When it comes to herbs, you can use things like lavender and mugwort, bay leaf. You can burn a lot of other herbs. Now, they might not smell that great. I've burned a lot of things to cleanse a space. Some things do not smell good when they are burned. They don't. They just do not smell good. But the point isn't to have a smell good, feel good time. The point is to have a feel good, spiritually cleansed space good time. So it works. It works. Really, if you want to find out what's going to work best for you, research, research, research. research, research, research. And remember, spirituality is not a one-size-fit-all deal. There's a lot of things that work for a lot of us, and there's a lot of things that are very custom. And you have to think about the fact that we are individual people with individual circumstances and individual backgrounds, but also individual mental abilities, also individual traumas we're dealing with, all right? So spirituality is a custom thing, and you want to apply your research, your prayer, and your connection in order to get the best out of it. All right, child, if you made it to the end of this video, gold star for you. I want to thank you for your time and your attention. I hope this video connected. I hope it resonated with whoever it needs to resonate with. I hope it gave you some direction and answered some questions. Just in case nobody has told you today, thank you so much for surviving all you have survived in order to be here. Thank you so much for surviving everything that has come to end you. You are amazing, you are wonderful, and you are so divine. I want you to have a good whenever you're encountering this. A good morning, a good afternoon, a good day, a good mid-morning, a good mid-afternoon, a good middle of the night, whatever it is. Have a good one. Have a good week, a good moment, a good day, a good second, a good month, a good year, a good life, a good everything, okay? And you know the deal. If you like what I'm doing, if you like what you see, if you're feeling this, if you are feeling me, make sure you hit the like button, baby. Make sure you hit the subscribe button, darling. Make sure you hit the notifications bell, sweetie pie, so you can keep up with all of my shenanigans and happenings. You know what's up. It's time for us to say goodbye for now, but I'll see you in the next video. Peace.